Okay, so I got the pan off. As you can see, I welded my bung in for my oil drain and just bolting that back up right now. It's a real pain in the ass to get to. You gotta like drop the subframe. I didn't fully drop it. I left the steering shaft connected. In hindsight, I should have just dropped the whole thing. Oh, also, I have the engine pulled up a little bit. But we're gonna get that thing bolted on. We're gonna make a motor mount for this side and probably one for the other side as well. And then I can start bolting on turbo stuff. Which kind of have the manifold sitting there already. But yeah, I'll check back in once I get that done. All right, here's a little update. I got the head studs all in, torqued down. Gotta put the valve cover back on. And I got the turbo manifold in with all new studs. That's torqued down, as well as, it's hard to see, but right there you can see it. I drilled a hole in the manifold to make a new port for the wastegate, because the stock one, which is right there, is obviously real close to the frame rail. But Logan's ripping wires out of his. But other than that, check this out. So I'm setting the turbo up to mount it in the car. I figured I'd set the turbo oil feed and return lines on. And here's one of the fittings they give you. Now, that's tight, like torqued down. Let me try and set the camera up here so I can show you what happens. Right? That's barely any pressure. If you look, take this off. This just floats right over it. It's real loose. Usually those are a bitch to get on. And if you look at the inside of the pipe, the rubber hose that's in there is real thin and real flimsy. And this is how it goes in. That's not going to create any type of seal. So I got to order new AN fittings. The top feed line looks pretty good. That's all on. Anyway, I'm gonna order some lines and we'll get back after that's done. As you can see, started building front bash bar. And there's a piece I bent up, kind of just sitting in the bumper for now. Gotta trim it up, trim these up, cope them, tack it up and weld it. As far as the turbo install is concerned, well, first off, I had to modify kind of the turbo housing. Just had to weld a little elbow onto it. It gets kind of tight under there. As well as I'm working on an oil drain setup right now. So I'll check back in when that's done. Gotta wait for a fitting to come in the mail. But I'm gonna keep going on this bash bar. So once that's done, I can start putting in like rad and intercooler and stuff like that. So we'll check back in a little bit. And a few hours later, the bash bar is complete. I had to notch it out a little bit to let the intercooler fit. That was one thing I did. I'm just dry fitting the rad and intercooler right now. And before it was a little tight in here, so I notched it out a little bit and now all is well. So next step is to make mounts and go from there. I don't know if I'm gonna have my intercooler pipes coming out up top or down low. Normally I would go down low as to, you know, leave room for the headlights, but I really don't want to get in the way of my steering angle, and that's the one thing I'm worried about. So that's all for tonight, and we'll see where I get tomorrow. All right, guys, I don't know where we left off, but look at what we got. Miller. So I got the, I mean, I guess I can't hide it and do it all at once, but anyway, I got the intercooler in, tabs made, bash bars in, painted, rad supports back in, rads in. I still gotta trim up the grill piece, but Miller came over and hooked it up. So I was wondering what I was gonna do with the elbows off the intercooler. Check that out. Yeah, they're a little dirty. Yeah, once they're cleaned up, they'll be nice.
Stand them or something.
So he took the inside bulb out and cleaned it up with a Dremel and everything.
Smashed the glass lens.
Smashed the glass lens
and
out.
Just Dremeled the whole housing and the bracket to the rad support.
At first, I was gonna like tape this off and maybe paint this black, but I think that looks pretty cool.
No, we'll clear them up real nice, and you'll be able to see the couplers and everything through it. It'll look sweet.
So build's coming along. Turbo's still sitting over there because I gotta get another fitting for the oil drain to make it work. It's kind of tight down there, but anyway, we'll check back in at the next step. So I haven't uploaded a video of me working on the BMW because I wanted to just do a follow-up video with the car fully together. And Chris is here, Jason's here. We're at that point for the first startup. I'm a little nervous. So I've been kind of procrastinating, so I figured, hey, what a good time to go over what I had to change on the eBay turbo kit. So to start, I should have some video footage of this, but because of the low mount turbo setup, I had to make a bracket, which you can see down there, so the turbo clears. As far as other things on the manifold, the stock wastegate port is right there, which it clearly won't fit, so I had to weld something on the other end of the collector. I brought it up to my wastegate, and I got a little hood dump here. I obviously welded all my intercooler piping. If you don't know how to weld, I guess you could use the couplers and stuff like that. Same thing with the blow-off valve flange. I talked about that. You'll notice my coolant reservoir is over here now. I had to do that because my intake for the turbo sits over here, which I don't have on right at the moment. You need a new elbow for up here. That doesn't come in the kit. I mounted my intercooler up top here, and the reason I didn't go through the bottom with the pipes is I need max wheel clearance for drifting. So what I did was I wound up hollowing out the one headlight and making it look pretty cool. Other than that, the oil feed line is long enough. I had to get a little custom hose made up, and you won't be able to see it, but I teed into the Vanos oil feed line. It's kind of it for things that I had to modify. I obviously didn't use the fuel pump that came with the eBay kit. I ran a Walbro 485. I had to get my own vacuum lines to run my vacuum system how I did. I can go more in depth. I'll probably make another follow-up video going more in depth on this build in particular, but I just kind of wanted to talk about the things I had to change to make it work. Let's see, what else is there? I mean, the exhaust I obviously had to make, which didn't come in the kit, so that's a given. But anyway, so here's the inside of the car. I modified my dash a little bit, put the gauges in. Obviously did a cage, got some bucket seats, hydro. So I guess there's nothing else to do but hook it up to the laptop, set a base map, and then key it over. By the way, for the ECU, I'm running the KDFI plug and play. It's actually a Mega Squirt 2 guts, but KDFI just puts it in their own box where it plugs right into the stock harness and uses the stock wiring sensors. The only thing you have to wire in to make it run is the wideband O2 sensor input, which is 2 wires, not a big deal. It's a sensor signal wire and a sensor ground that grounds to the ECU, and then there's just a power and ground for the gauge itself. So I don't think I can procrastinate anymore. Let's do this.
No. I don't want it to spit oil. That's why I'm trying to tighten this.